Well, it started out down a dirty road. Started out all alone, and the sun went down as it crossed the hill, and the town lit up, and the world got still. I'm ready to fly, but I ain't got wings. Coming down is the hardest thing. Now the good old days may not return, and the rocks might melt, and the sea may burn. I'm learning to fly, yeah, but I ain't got wings. And coming down, it's the hardest thing. Yes, it is. Some say life will beat you down, and it'll break your heart, steal your crown. So start it out for God knows where, but I guess I'll know when I get there. I'm learning to fly, but I ain't got wings. And coming down is the hardest thing. I'm learning to fly.
Hello and welcome to another episode of The Learning Curve. I am one of your hosts, Lauren, and here's my co-host.
Hello, everybody. I'm Derek.
Hello. And Derek, ain't nobody gonna break our glide or our stride. And we are joined with Andrea out of New Jersey. Hello, Andrea.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me today.
Thank you for joining us. We were just talking a little bit. We're like, we got to record this because you are so inspiring. So just tell everyone a little bit about yourself first, and then we can go into skating from there.
Yeah, sure. So my name is Andrea. I am 45 years old. I am a full-time single mom of a 10-year-old daughter, working full-time in the financial industry, and obviously have a passion and adoration for skating as my hobby. Definitely take it seriously because I love to compete, but at the end of the day, it fills my happy cup.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh. You're so inspiring. You can inspire moms and professionals, and you're so busy. So when
you can inspire dads too.
And dads, yeah, just parents in general. Tell us your skating origin story.
Yeah.
So figure skating, I started at the age of 38. It was 2018. I was in the process of separating from my then husband, watching the Olympics, and I was also coming out of being bedridden with Lyme disease for 2 years.
Oh
so
my goodness.
Yeah, I had just had my daughter in 2015. 2016, I started to develop these symptoms, and it was at the same time I just started a new position at the company where I'm at now. Within weeks, maybe like 3 or 4 weeks after starting this job, I couldn't work in the office anymore. I was bedridden because I was starting to suffer from neurological symptoms and nearly passing out
Mm.
and being unable to walk. So I suffered from this for 2 years. I went to all the doctors and specialists to try to identify what was going on. So it took about 5 months after a lot of tests and expensive blood work to get diagnosed with Western Lyme, Bartonella, and Babesia.
Wow.
So it was a whole journey. And being a new mom, I was in the process of becoming, on the way to getting divorced. But my then husband and I were separated, and it was really tough. And so in 2018, after I was watching the Olympics, I got really inspired. Like I used to be a competitive roller skater as a kid. I
Oh.
started at the age of 4. I quit when I was 11 years old. And I won 2 national titles during my 8-year career. So,
Oh my gosh.
at the age of 5, I had qualified for nationals, but at that age, like you couldn't go. So they would take, the next skater. So at age 6, I went and won my first title when I was not 9. Oh my God. Yeah, 89 and 90.
Wow.
But I had always qualified for nationals every year, either in figures and freestyle or one or the other. Actually, usually would always be figures. That was my strong point. I love figures.
Figures in roller skating.
They do figures and roller skating?
Yes, they
in roller
do.
skating?
Figures and loops. So the lines are drawn on already, and you have to follow them. But in figures,
Oh.
you can't look down like you can in figure skating. Your head had to be level. You literally just had to like psychically feel the lines.
Wow.
And it was like another level of concentration, and I think that's probably why I excelled in it. I can really just dial in. And it was a sense of calm, freestyle from, even when I was a kid up to an adult, there's a different level of energy and I guess anxiety I have around it because of, the jumping and the spinning and everything put together. But figures had just as much intensity, but in a different way. So
Yeah.
I appreciated the calmness. It was kind of a break for me until it wasn't.
Yeah.
That's
Wow.
incredible.
I'm so fascinated by this. I have so many questions for you, but I want you to keep going. The reason no is because I've often wondered like how roller skating could generalize to figure skating for adults. And
Sure.
yeah.
So the transition, so yes, when I quit when I was 11, and then I picked it up when I was 38. And in between, I would like skate for fun. And actually, I did do figure skating when I was a kid. I was doing both sports at the same time, and I had to quit because the technique was conflicting. So
I was wondering about.
yeah, I stuck with roller, and now I regret it. Because the sad part is roller has never made it into the Olympics. I don't know why. It is,
Yeah.
I mean, that sport
Considering all the events that there are there in there. I mean,
Mhm.
isn't there like trampoline and like, I mean, not to downplay that, but I mean, come on.
Yeah, it's so frustrating because the level of athleticism in that sport, whether it's artistic or it's speed or even roller hockey, it's like, why are we not recognizing this as an Olympic sport? It's sad. And I when I quit at 11 years old, I was sad because it was time for me to move on to my next chapter. But I was like, oh my God, if roller skating ever made it to the Olympics, it could have been a possibility for me because I was, skating at a high level, and my school, like, I went to school full time, but it was a 6-day-a-week dedication. My parents were driving me an hour to practice every day, Saturday, Sunday practices. It was very intense. But yeah, so fast forward to, 2018 Olympics, and just watching it just brought me back to this place where I wanted to be. I wanted to express my body in a way that was athletic, and skating allows you to do that. And I was going through a separation with my husband at the time, and I was starting to come out of like being bedridden and sick. So I got on the ice in like these cheap skates I had, and I realized I could really use some lessons. I have no idea how to maneuver the mechanics of a blade because all my feet and my legs know are roller skates. The quad skates. There's 2 types of skates now, as if you've probably seen. There's the quad skates, and there's the pick skates, where the blades are all in one line. That does kind of mimic the mechanics of a blade. Sensation, obviously still a little bit different, but the real estate under your feet really dictate like how you're going to apply pressure so that you can execute an element. And that's the part that's been hard for me, is despite having like the air positions the same, but the execution of a spinner jump, especially if it's on an edge, let me tell you, when I started to learn edges, every single muscle in my body woke up, but the ones for roller skating, and they don't translate when you're trying to do a loop jump. Like loop jump for most people, even adults that never skated in their life, seem to be an easier jump for them to pick up. But the muscles, like, really just were so ingrained in me, and doing a loop jump with roller skating technique, you'll see Jesus. Let me just put it that way. It's terrifying. Like, I can't tell you how many times I've almost hurt myself on a loop jump, and it's like so frustrating. But you can't teach an old dog new tricks. That is for sure. Like, I worked so hard to, alter the mechanics in my muscle and just rewire my brain and muscles to acclimate to blades versus wheels. And it's amazing. Like, it's so empowering.
Do you feel that so a lot of that work all took place on the ice, or do you think some of that took place off ice as well for you to coordinate all of that?
Off ice, let me tell you, when I didn't start off ice training until about, I would say, like a little over 8 to 9 months after I actually started, skating. And, when I started to compete, I was like, wow, I really need to strengthen muscles that I didn't know existed before in my body, because it awakens so many parts of you. And like that, every part of your body you need to strengthen, like between the cardio, your stamina needs to be up there. The core is definitely the foundation of all of that. And I, for one, if I skip core like for a couple days as an adult, I feel that impact like immediately. So, I do coach on the side. I started coaching, I think, believe in 2021, and I've noticed a difference in my students, the few students that I do have, just because I do work full time, when they started doing core work and how much more control they have over their body, but then like, the legs and the quads and just the mechanics of being able to control your edge and do that counterbalance. You need so much developmental strength there, and you have to maintain it. So, it's not, the work that you do off the ice, it's not even just for the ice. It's as you get older, you've got to nurture your body. And I mean, going up and down the stairs for me would be painful. I'm like, this is bad.
Yeah,
So I know.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to make a point. We had a guy, Eric Bellardi. I don't know if you're familiar with him, but
Yes.
his podcast is about to air. I think maybe tonight. Maybe is that right?
Working on it. Yeah, probably tonight. Probably tonight.
But he was saying how the importance of the warm up and just stretch. He does a lot of off ice, but he does a lot of, like he said, at least 15 minutes before he gets on the ice every day.
Yeah,
it's so important as we get older. He's 58 years old.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've seen him skate. He's incredible. Yeah. And in order for your body, especially as you get older, you need to condition and warm those muscles up in order to get on the ice. Because otherwise, you're setting yourself up for injury. Yeah. And like the kids bounce back quicker versus adults, like hands down. It's like, oh my gosh, like, all right, see you guys in a week.
Yeah, I know.
I'm so intrigued by your story. Just talk a little bit about from the Lyme disease. Because it's not like you were going back to what you knew with roller. You were trying figure skating then after that. Was that transition from having been almost bedridden for that long to like the ice? Was that really difficult for you?
It didn't feel like it, because I started to find my strength, and mentally, psychologically, it was healthy for me to have this outlet.
Yeah.
So from what I recall, it gave me an escape. Being in my home, like I was still sharing a home with my then husband, being able to escape that negative energy and doing something for my body, I didn't even like feel such a huge transition mentally. So it was good for me. Like I felt like, oh my God, I've been missing out this entire time. Like the part that was hard for me is really learning the mechanics of, how to maneuver your blade, which I'm still learning. Like I'm constantly learning. There's so many things that I enjoy about ice skating, and there's an infinite amount of learning that you can do in this sport. But that physically it was hard for me, because habits were so hard to break, especially under pressure. So when I started to compete, the one thing that your body tends to do, especially when you're fatigued or gassed, is you revert back to old habits. And I tend to, even, now I tend to do that. So for me, I really love putting myself under pressure and just competing against my mind. Like that's what it boils down to.
80% of it, they say.
It really is. And of course, if we want to succeed, but what defines that success is different for every person. And for me, if I can overcome my nerves, that's a win for me. And when I don't, I'm just motivated to get back on the ice and get back to work because at the end of the day, it doesn't pay for my mortgage. So
You're so funny. It's true, but I feel like it keeps you mentally sharp too. And like speaking to my own experience, like I've learned some things as an adult that I never learned as a kid skater. I've pushed myself and challenged myself in other ways,
yes.
Twizzles come to mind or a butterfly. I never knew how to do any of those as a kid. And so it's kind of keeps like your physicality sharp, but also like your mind, because you're like, well, what can I try next? Well, what can I push myself to, after that? And so that's awesome. When you were skating as a kid, didn't you mention to me once you skated with Tara?
Oh, yes, I did. I did compete against Tara Lipinski when I was a kid. I'm trying to think what year that was. It was either 80, I think 89 or 88. So one of the years that I won figures, she's a year younger than me, I believe. So we did compete against each other in figures and freestyle. So
And you beat her.
So I did beat her. Yes, I did.
Yeah, you just.
And
That's awesome.
then she was wise to switch to figure skating, obviously. And I was like, damn, that's why I say it was like I should have switched to figure. It would have just taken me farther. Who knows? I mean, then again, though, figure skating is an expensive sport, as you all know. So I don't know if my family would have been able to, handle that. So
You would have gotten sponsors.
Sure.
I can only dream.
Once you got around the age of 11, did you say you kind of moved on to the next chapter? Was your heart not in it anymore, would you say, with the roller?
I'll be honest with you, I had conflict with my mom, and she pulled me off the floor one day. Like we had a huge argument, and there's part of me that really wanted, though, to experience childhood. Like I wasn't the kid that can come home from school and play outside. And when she pulled me off the floor, I was like, maybe I can explore what it's like to be a normal kid. So I started to, go outside and play, and it was the best thing ever. But, throughout middle school, high school, even college, I would always think about skating, and my heart I felt like something was missing inside of me. And I think that's part of why figure skating drew me, because I was revisiting a part of me that I really left behind. And even though it was, different real estate under my feet, it was still the same concept for me. And I can imagine not skating at all.
I know. We feel the same way. Did your daughter ever skate?
She did. I tried to get her started. I think she was like 3 or 4 at the time. And then she had some trauma with the Zamboni. I mean, nothing happened.
no.
She just saw it. And there's a video of her crawling off the ice screaming because it's about to... And as a stellar parent, I'm just laughing. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is actually really me.
Oh my God.
I thought it was funny. It wasn't gonna run her over. But she's gone on the ice with me before. There was one year in 2020 during COVID year. Our club had the Christmas show. So I really wanted her to be a part of it. And she is no skills, but she got on I dressed her up as a little angel, and she dressed up and she got on the ice, and just having her integrated just made my heart full. And there was one other episode where she was my Oompa Loompa. I performed Willy Wonka last summer.
Oh, I want to see that.
Oh my God, Derek, you would laugh.
I love that.
We had 2.5 weeks before the show, and I was in negotiations with her about being my Oompa Loompa, because I really wanted her to be my Oompa Loompa. And she's like, fine, I will do it if you get me Crocs. And she knows how much I hate Crocs. Sorry, no offense to those who like it. So I finally...
I hate them.
Actually, they're really comfy, but besides the point, I was like, fine, I caved. We had 2.5 practices, because one of them, she quit in the middle of a lesson. I'm like, fantastic. And the day of the show, she's like, now I am nervous. She was flip-flopping back and forth. I'm like, you can't do this to me. I don't have another Oompa Loompa. She delivered her role with no skating skills on point. I was her mannerisms, I have to share it because it's hilarious. And it was just so heartwarming. And then she never did it again.
So she was
all right, Mom, this one time, that's it.
She was around 5 at that show, would you say?
No, the Oompa Loompa show was just last year's show. She was 9. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I know my daughter skated for about 3 years, and she did learn to skate classes in the ice shows. And
Yeah.
one time she's about 8, and she shows up to her class and she says to her coach, yeah, my mom made me come. And I said, and we're done. and I said, we're going to finish the session, but then we're done and you're going to find whatever you'd like. I said, just because mommy was a skater doesn't mean that you need to be a skater.
Yeah.
You know, you just want your kids to kind of find their passion and
Absolutely.
so.
Yeah, I know. It's nice to share that with your child, but I mean, I'm not one to, push her to do something she's not passionate about. So I'm gonna support whatever she's passionate about.
Right, of course. That's awesome.
So cool.
Eric, do you have another question for Andrea?
So I guess, can you, just for, in general terms, could you sort of like explain how, technique wise, from roller skating to what is it that, because like for those of us that like to go roller skating, but yet we're more serious about ice skating, are there things we need to be careful about in terms of like not focusing on certain aspects of technique? Because I've always wondered about that. It seems like that could be dangerous territory.
But it depends what you're doing. If you're stroking, I mean, whether you're on wheels or ice, like obviously when we're just skating, like obviously you don't want to be tipping too far forward, too far back. If we're talking about executing jumps and elements, the techniques that we do on the ice, the techniques that we learn on roller, like you don't want to do on the ice, because in roller we tend to hurl our bodies into the air. Like we use the term throw your body. And that's all we know, because that's the mechanics that we use. And of course, there is technique in that. A lot of the technique now in roller skating actually mimics a lot of that in ice skating now. And I noticed that especially like in a toe loop. We had what was called a toe wally, where you tend to like open your hip and it's actually a toe axle.
Yeah.
And you can't do that in ice skate. I cannot break that habit. I have students who I teach who do single toe loops better than me because they don't have that in their muscle memory. It's taking me so long to break it, but yeah, it does become a little bit dangerous if you are a figure skater trying to do. If you're a figure skater that used to be a roller skater, because a lot of them will not, take advantage of the mechanics of your blade and allow you to ride an edge into a jump or even a spin. But I would say like you probably. Roller skaters that do ice skating tend to transition fairly easily as long as you're gliding. It's not the same if you're trying to execute elements though. So I would say be careful with that.
Yeah.
Because you can't throw yourself off your edge, or when you have 4 wheels under your feet, your feet are so used to having like a single blade. Actually, pick skates, I would recommend pick skates. That is a little bit easier. During COVID, when we didn't have ice, I splurged. I bought a pair of pick skates, and I was able to do axle, double sow cow, and a couple of spins. Again, though, it was still a little bit different because like your rocker, where you think your rocker is slightly different, on a pick skate, but it'd be an easier transition for sure.
So you were doing that on roller during COVID?
Yeah, I was. Tennis courts were my jam when it wasn't like
I was gonna say, that was my next question. Like, so where do you go to like train? Like, I'm sure they have roller rinks, right?
They do.
But you would just do all those jumps on like a tennis court?
Yep. I would find it. I would bring a broom to like broom off the debris. I brought my wireless speaker, so I had music because as skaters we need music. And it fulfilled that need for artistic movement just enough while we were out. And then and you got to exercise, and it wasn't as much of a threat with like catching COVID at the time because there weren't that many people.
What causes more of injury, hitting the roller rink floor or the ice?
Oh, okay. Because I did this now as an adult, for me, it was more of a threat on roller, because like the impact. So I started wearing wrist guards because I did jump, and I remember doing a double sow cow. I hit the ground pretty hard, and I would wear pads, but the wrist impact was like, oh yeah, no. And like scraping, your limbs if you happen to skid. I mean, ice is a little bit more forgiving if you fall properly, not if you, bang your head on the ice, which I've done. I've done concussions.
Really?
Yeah, I did a double toe loop using outside three-turn entry as opposed to the inside three-turn entry. And it was one of the first few times I was doing it, and like I like whiplashed and fell back. So it's weird because I feel safer doing things on the ice than I did roller, just because it's such a hard, unforgiving surface.
Is it more common to wear helmets on roller?
Never. No, we didn't even have pads. I don't know how we did this. Like,
I always know anti-helmet in both disciplines.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, right? Like, like now they have the, what do you call it? The headpiece, like the halo headpiece. Which, yeah, usually if I'm learning a new jump, I definitely wear pads learning a new jump. But I was like, how did I do this as a kid, and how did we not have some safety gear?
Yeah.
In roller, are the jumps the same as in ice?
Yes, every single one of them.
And then, so what jump did you get to when you were on roller when you were a kid?
Double flip. I'm sorry, doublets.
Oh, so you did all of your doubles.
Girl. I did, yeah. I didn't get up to double axel. I was I was 11 at the time. So yeah,
Is there anyone that can do a triple axel on roller?
They do them now. I mean, the mechanics of the, like, so I know the equipment. Oh my God. First of all, let me just tell you the weight difference, like how heavy I still have my old roller skates from when I was 11 years old. My feet were apparently very huge at the time as a kid. They've gotten lighter, just, like companies like Andrea, like they've learned how to, create, the equipment to be a lot lighter. I don't know what they feel like now, but that definitely, I think, helps enable them to be able to do triple axles. Like back then it was like double axles and like triple Lutz, those were things that were a lot more prevalent at the world class level. And they were incredible to watch. Oh my God. And it's like knowing how much more heavy the roller skates are versus the blades. You got to give these guys so much credit, because
it is really amazing that this is not an Olympic sport. It's crazy.
It is.
Oh, yeah. And let's like talk about pairs. You're lifting someone over your head with roller skates on their feet. How?
It's insane that it's not in the Olympics.
Okay, so let's go into that a little bit. So are the disciplines the same? Like, do they have dance? Do they have...
They do. They have free dance. So solo dance, from what I recall, like at the national level, I don't think they had solo dance back then, but now I think that's expanded. They do have solo free dance now. So yeah, they have pairs, free dance, solo dance. I think the older crowd were more into competing in like pattern dance. Don't quote me on that though. I didn't follow it as much. Although I did do dance for a little bit. I loved it because it was no figures, it was no jumping, it was it was such a break for me. I never got to do it though. So mad.
I love that. Oh my gosh.
Same patterns though. I literally, because I started ice dance last summer. And I was looking up the patterns, or like, looking up a video from one of the dances, and I was like, oh, they're doing it in roller too. Wonder if it's the same exact steps. And sure enough, it was. It was pretty cool.
Amazing. Yeah, Derek, I don't know why it's not an Olympic, because it's got like the same thing as
people not advocating for it, do you think?
Like, I'm pretty sure they have. I stopped following, like, I'm guessing there's probably politics around it. I can't imagine like how it can't be. It's so disappointing, because like these are super athletes. I have to send you some links to follow of people on social media. It's so
I almost want to advocate for it now.
Yeah,
we should use this platform. Okay, so I want to ask a little bit about transitioning into figure skating. How soon into, like, around that 2018 did you start like working with a coach?
I started, so I got on the ice in February, and I believe by like March or April, I started off with a coach. And then I went to Vegas in June of that year. I connected with a coach there, and I noticed a shift in my ability to do things quicker. So I was like, oh, okay, well, they explain things a little bit differently that helped me be able to do things I should be able to do. I also got different skates, so my equipment needed an upgrade. I needed someone else whose coaching style resonated with me. So he was my virtual coach for a little while until we can identify someone here in Jersey. And then that's how I ended up finding the coach I'm with now. So I started working with him in October 2018. And by October 2018, we were working on axles. Like I had my axle, and then I competed.
You were
trying to
born to do this.
You were born to
You're a
do this.
natural.
You're a
born.
superstar, Andrea.
Yeah, you totally are.
You are. That's insane. Wow. That's so cool.
So much fun. Some days I question my life decisions because I like hurl my body in there and I see Jesus and all his disciples. And then I'm like, why the hell am I doing this? But then I'm like, this is it's like the equivalent of jumping out of a plane for some people,
It's adrenaline rush for
Yes.
sure.
Yes.
Mhm.
You guys know like how that feels. It's invigorating or freeing when you're just gliding. Like
Don't get Derek started on the speed aspect of skating. He
I love
yeah,
I just love making my own wind and
yes.
and just I love it.
That's so funny too, Andrea, because you and Derek started skating in the same year.
That's so
we did. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's
I was in Sun Valley, Idaho, and I stumbled upon I had no idea that there was an outdoor rink and it was open year round, and I saw it. I was just like, oh my gosh, I want to do that. Like, I love it. So I just fell in love with it immediately. Started taking lessons, and here I am.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome that you found that. Like, it totally fills your happy cup. And then I feel like it helps with just getting older, and every aspect of your life is affected in such a positive way with having skating in your life. Like, I've gotten so more confident in so many other areas of my life because of it. Because my mentality is, I'm like, if I can hurl my middle-aged ass in the air, I can handle parenting. Or I can handle this meeting where I have to talk. It's way easier than doing an axel in competition.
100%. How soon into coming back or starting figure skating did you start competing?
I had my first competition in August of 2018. So I was the only one in that event.
Oh my God, you're a go-getter.
You're a leg. We're not wasting any time here.
No. And then I did ISU in Lake Placid in 2019. That was actually my first really big competition. It was so intimidating. Holy cow. Like
Lake Placid. Cool.
And then in 20
what state was that in? Was that Lake Placid? Is that in
New York?
Oh, it's in New York?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah, Olympics.
Yeah, 1980 Olympics.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. If you haven't skated there, oh my God, highly
recommend it. It's beautiful.
It's breathtaking. It really is. And they've renovated I think 1930 rink and Herb Brooks, that's it. Herb Brooks Arena, they renovated that. I haven't been there since the renovation, but the town itself, it's just, oh my God, it's so incredible. And you really feel the essence of the Olympics being there. And if you're lucky enough to be there when the lake's frozen, you can skate on Mirror Lake, which is like...
Did you get to do that?
I haven't gotten to do that yet. It's on my bucket list.
Yeah, I see videos all the time of people skating on lakes in these beautiful places, and I'm just like, sometimes I wonder if they're even real. They just don't even seem like they're real.
I know. Have you seen videos of people literally like getting helicoptered in to like some sort of like body of water in the middle of a mountain and skating there?
No, but I wonder how they did get there. Now they're helicopters. Okay.
I know. It's like a different level of a budget or connection. I don't know.
Yeah.
For real.